So today I wanted to talk about death. I've currently got a very close friend staying with me who's very ill, and yesterday and Friday we've been talking a lot about death and what it is to die. So it's been on my mind. I don't know quite how to put this in language, so you're going to have to bear with me as I muddle my way through it. I want to say Lisa died. When talking with my friend, I know exactly what death is. There's a complete knowing here of what dies. And there is actually no sadness about death. The sadness actually comes with the ideas of the loss, of all the things, the objects you think you'll lose, the memories you'll lose, of things you never got, things you wanted to get, expectations, the idea of future. That's a huge one. Great depression comes when death's coming because you have no future to live out, and so many people live the idea of future as the happiness. Even spiritual people, they think in the future I'm going to be liberated, soon I'm going to be liberated. This being died. She lost everything. Everything. You can't be happy and still have attachments to worldly things. You can't. This sounds so morbid, but it's divinely beautiful. At every moment I'm prepared to die. At every moment I am dying. Or I die. There is no difference here between life and death. There's no... Life is seeing everything, death is nothing. But you're always nothing, you're always coming from nothing. And then awareness comes and everything is seen. But they're both the same thing. And in happiness, this is seen so dramatically. In every moment, everything is falling away into that no-thing. Everything. The bridge of awareness is what's lived in. But being the bridge, there's a constant touching to no-thing and everything. I really like the imagery of angels, and there's certain people that think that angels represent awareness. They have one wing in no-thing and one wing in everything. They're the messenger, they're in both worlds. And this is what it's like to die in every moment. You're touching both worlds, you're seeing both worlds. You're not living in this mental and energetic expression of being a somebody. You're no longer attached to anything being a happiness, including the idea of having the next moment. Nobody has ever, ever been afraid of death. There is nothing to be scared of in death at all. The fear comes from the loss, the idea of loss. Thinking your happiness is in worldly objects, in worldly ideas. Thinking that you still have to get something, that you can't let go of something. And in the apparent story of Lisa, towards the end of the fluctuation, so what happened here was there was awakening years ago, and then there was fluctuation between suffering and awakening, and then eventually it kind of stopped. And towards the end of the awakening period, there was a lot of crying around the actual letting go of the actual memories. Like now, if somebody asks me my story, it's like, yes, the story of Lisa. It's not that I don't think I'm this story anymore. It's like, it's just far away. Well, I don't think that I'm this story anymore, but it's not like I completely forget it or I'm completely attached to it. It's just, there's like got to be a memory. Yes, the story of Lisa. I don't carry it around with me anymore. I'm not holding it to my chest. I'm not ready to explode with, when I was 5 years old, this happened. When I was 6 years old, this happened. And then my mum was like this and my dad was like this. And there's no relationship there anymore. My mum and dad, in a way, aren't my parents anymore. Although there's great, great love for them and respect for them. There's no sense of being the daughter. There's no sense of the child anymore, in a way. There's no acting out the victim story. Everything goes until you're radically this. But in being this, there's still thinking happening, emotions happening. There's still preferences, which emotionally... I'm just turning off my heater. There's still preferences happening, which were apparently created in the past. I'm English, I like tea. I like English breakfast tea and Earl Grey. But there's no attachment to any of it anymore. At all. And there's great love for friends and family, but there's no grasping onto that story. At every moment I'm prepared to die. Every moment there is death. And some people die while they're still alive, but everybody dies when they die. This is seen always in death, that you were never, ever the character, ever. You were never the memories. You were never the ideas of what will bring you happiness. You were never the big house you built, the children you had, the name you were called, ever. This is all spontaneously rising from no thing, and always so beautifully, so endlessly falling back into nothing. It's affinity, it's endless, but endless in its no-thingness. And it creates everything and watches everything. And there's great compassion and love for my friend, who's very sick. But But there can't be any buying in here of his fear, or anything he expresses, because I don't see anyone to die. I see that's all thoughts and attachments and ideas of this supposed somebody, but it's not true. There's no truth in it. And he says these things, or tears come up, and then it falls back away into nothingness. And then there's just us looking at each other again, and the fire burning in the background. And the wind blowing outside. All continuously falling back into nothingness. And it's crazy, all of this. It's crazy being this supposed individual with this supposed ability to see past and future, but there was never any of it. Ever. There is only ever just this, with the thoughts and the memories written into it. And there's so much compassion and love flowing out here. But not in the way of buying into someone's story who's ill by going, oh, poor them, it shouldn't be happening, it's bad. No, not at all. It's just this silence pouring out, this absolute love. And that's what the whole world is made of, this absolute silence. And in the silence, noise appears, and this is the great contradiction. Noise appears silently. It's divine. And then these thoughts bubble up. Yes, but I need to do something. I need to meditate more to get to this place. But it's bubbling up from nowhere. It's being seen from nowhere. That thought that's bubbling up has no truth in it. It's just a thought passing through. You're not that thought. There is no difference between that thought bubbling up and the window in front of me appearing, and the dog that just walked past the window. No difference. But in the supposed story of the individual, they identify with that thought. They don't identify with the window or the dog. Liberation is all of that falling away. Great relaxation. I just have to stop the video and start again. So there's a part 2 to this one. But to get them onto YouTube, I have to only do 15 minutes. This is a deaf part 1.